They look good, they smell good, they feel good, they also play good. And shortly after release, you'll probably be able to get them for under retail. Hey, what's good guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we're taking a detailed look and breakdown on these bad boys right here. This is the Air Jordan 14 in a brand new colorway. They're just simply black and white, very clean look, almost playoff-esque if you will. Now before we take a look at all the details that these guys offer,
after these messages, we'll be right back.
If you wanted to know our thoughts on the latest sneaker news, well, we've got good news for you because there's a podcast for that. If you wanted to know Chris's thoughts on the latest nerd there's a podcast for that. If you wanted to listen to Mrs. Wing tell really weird stories and maybe learn something new for the day,
there's a podcast for that.
You can find the WearTesters Unlaced podcast, also known as the Pop Culture Podcast, available now on all streaming networks, including right here on our YouTube channel. It uploads every Saturday, so yes, we're making Saturday mornings great again. Okay, so first things first, again, this is a brand new colorway, which I think is really cool. I think that it needs a little something, like it's an almost perfect colorway for me, in my opinion, based off of my tastes, but I just wish that there was some red right here, like the Jordan lettering was in red, or maybe the back logos, just a little splash of something. I think that it would have been really cool. It would have pushed these from just being a simple black-white colorway to more of a what if he wore these in the playoffs type of colorway, because he wore the Air Jordan 13 in a similar colorway before switching to the black and reds, these guys right here, for the NBA finals and all that stuff. So it would have just been a really cool tribute, and yes, these are talking because I'm going to use them to show you guys some really cool Now, as far as the tech specs are concerned, with the Air Jordan 14, this, in my opinion, is one of the best Jordans to play basketball in as far as the retro variety. If you're looking at modern performance, obviously go with one of their modern shoes, like the 38s or the 28s, the 29s, stuff like that. The 34 is still a great one. But when we're talking about retro stuff, so stuff from the 90s or pre-2000s, this guy right here is one of the best. They offer herringbone traction from top to bottom. I think that these are awesome. I love the little call out to not just the model itself, but they incorporated that into the pivot point. Again, some red would have been sick, dude. I'm just saying, like, I know that it's small, but it would have been cool. It would have made a difference. So moving on up from the sole, we actually have a substantial shank plate. This guy right here depends on the colorway. So this is the standard version. It's kind of like a really firm, like TPU. Some colorways though, like this white and red one, offer what looks like carbon fiber. So it just kind of depends on what it is, but the standard shank is usually like this. So it's that ribbed one.
For her pleasure. Ew.
It works really well. On top of that, there's a little air scoop right there for some ventilation. These things were actually modeled after one of MJ's Ferraris, and so that's why they got this whole like car looking theme. They're aggressive. You got the tire tread pattern on the back. Can't really see it. Again, would have been cool with some red right there, man. I don't know what they were doing. What were they doing?
They're smoked out lights.
They are smoked out lights, but they would have been cool if they were brake lights and they were red. The midsole, including the teeth, are a lightweight Phylon. This stuff right here is just like super low profile, real low to the ground. It's an awesome ride, just like a Ferrari. And this thing right here is just a beast on court. Inside of that midsole for the retros look just like this. So we've got a 4-foot zoom unit and then a heel zoom unit. This is the actual midsole. You can see that the teeth are all there and everything like that. They're not separate components, but the originals, man, were something special. Look at that. They offered 4-foot articulated zoom. This is the original style of articulated zoom. Nowadays, when they use articulated zoom, which is pretty rare, it doesn't look like this. It looks more like what you'll see somewhere on the screen. They use these in like the CP3 models, the Jordan 2012, stuff like that. Not only did they feature 4-foot articulated zoom originally, but you can see in between all of the kind of crevices or the flex zones that they also poured in polyurethane in there to fill up those gap spaces so you had a smooth ride from front to back. As you can see, it doesn't really last that long. The zoom unit will outlast the polyurethane. Now the insole for the retro is this guy right here. This is not a bad insole. I know that it's not like a great insole or anything like that where it's got a shank plate or an arch support plate built in, but it is firm. It's not like floppy and everything, so it's not gonna bend on you. This is solid right here. Additionally, there are 2 extra zones of comfort. So you got additional zonal pods made up of different types of foam. Same thing in the original. So I think that that's really cool. They carried most of this stuff over. Believe it or not, the Air Jordan 14, despite the 4-foot tech change, is actually one of the better retros that the brand makes, as far as it being like as close to the original product as possible. I'll say that. The overall shape of the shoe looks fantastic as well. They don't look identical to the original, but they look pretty damn close. The only thing that I can complain about is that the The toe does have a slight hump here, whereas the originals were very sleek and they just kind of like went straight and streamlined down into that 4-foot rubber piece at the toe. Now, as far as the materials are concerned, that's where I think that some people may dislike these. I'm kind of like half and half. I do actually like the material. It's made up of all suede, so I think that that's really nice. I love the way that the tongue is synthetic nubuck, and so this right here is not going to like make any weird sounds or anything like that. These kind of tongues on performance models I find to be the most comfortable. So if we're going to go back 1 year to the Air Jordan 13, especially when we're talking about retros, and we have all of these shoes that are made up of leather builds, and then they got that synthetic leather tongue, and then it starts farting and making all these weird sounds and stuff like that. I really don't like that. But these nubuck tongues, when they're synthetic nubuck or genuine nubuck, they feel amazing on foot, and on top of that, they're silent. So I just really like the way that all of this is. However, the one thing that I think some people might dislike is that the color will fade a little bit. So some people really don't like that on black suede shoes. Some of the spotted areas are apparent where they're kind of like, I don't want to say that they're dingy looking, but they definitely look like they got rubbed a little bit. So I don't know if you'd be able to fix that. I'm pretty sure that you could if you really wanted to, where you can like re-dye the upper. I will say when you look at versions of the past, like this guy from 2005, like the black still looks really good despite, you know, some color migration and everything like that. So it just kind of is what it is. It happens with the materials, but I do think that they're nice overall. I really love the colorway. I think that's the main thing. Like this colorway is so simple. It reminds me so much of the Playoff 13, which I love. I just really wish that there was a little bit of red in there somewhere. But anyways, as far as the sizing is concerned, they do fit true to size. They're super comfortable. I absolutely love 14s. I think that they're amazing on foot. I know that they're a more aggressive style as far as the overall design. So some people don't like that, especially today with modern fashion where everything's kind of like 80s and early 90s. But if you wanted to look super cool and be super comfortable, I think these still hit, man. These are great. I love this shoe so much. I love playing in them. I love just wearing them casually. This is just a great ass shoe, man. I love these. I swear that this was a fake. Like I've seen fakes of these, but they were all leather. They still had the ribs and stuff, but they did have some of the red on there, like in those areas. It was super weird. I don't know if anybody remembers, but yeah. But that pretty much takes care of it for the Air Jordan 14 in black and white. I think this is a solid ass release, especially once they start hitting discounts. Again, right now, especially in December, especially in this economy, there's so many shoes. They're so expensive and people are really being selective. So just let these sit and rot on shelves. Doesn't mean that they're a bad shoe or anything. I know that some people try to play it off like that. That's not true. Getting a great deal on a great shoe is never a bad thing. Anyways, with all that being said, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We greatly appreciate it. Let us know if you're interested in these guys down below in the comment section. What do you think about the changes? Some people didn't like these, so I don't know if maybe that was a thing. Maybe they had longevity problems. I know that the tubes that made up the flex joints would crack over time with more flexing, like all of the, you know, wear and tear. So maybe that's why they went and switched it out for one of these. But either way, sound off below and let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you once again for watching. Check out our podcast. It's in the podcast playlist. Best basketball shoes of 2023 was our most recent one, and there's lots of great information in there. So with that being said, we will catch you on the next one, and until then, have a good one. Dude, check out this sniff. It smells like...
That's funny because whenever I have to do the sniff, I take out the volume because I don't like the sound of it. So
for real?
I just don't want that on me. So it's weird.
You don't want it to be like a wheezy sniff, like it's like a you know what I mean?
Just so you can hear the air go through anything in my nose. I don't want that.
It's not like a one nostril hitter or just like a high pitched screech or some shit like that. Yeah, I get it. Or you sound just like stuffed up to the brim, which I am right now. So yeah.
Yeah.
Hey. My throat hurts, man.